Hello everyone, welcome to What If Quirkless Deku was abandoned by his family and becomes Yujiro Hanma Part 1. Before we start, please go support Mundafix 1018 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. IZUKU is abused and abandoned by his family. Discover how he survives and becomes the strongest. Chapter 1A Shitty Life. Arc. Learning to live. 4-year-old IZUKU. In a world where everything depends on your quirk, if you had a strong quirk you were the pride of your family, but if you had a weak one they didn't give you much importance. But if you were quirks you would be hated by society. This happened more than 100 years ago, but nowadays 100% of children had a quirk, or so they thought. IZUKU was a simple boy with a dream of saving many people. He wanted to be a hero who could save everyone. He had a twin sister named Izumi. Her dream was to be number one and be praised, a somewhat selfish dream if you asked me. One of those days they went to the doctor to find out their quirks. IZUKU was so happy. That day was very beautiful. The sky was clear, letting the sun shine. The wind refreshed the whole environment. It was neither cold nor hot. A perfect day and environment. There was nothing bad that could ruin the day. Or was there? The doctor had told Izumi that she had a quirk called pyrokinesis. IZUKU asked her what her quirk was. He was so excited and happy. Doctor, you don't have a quirk, seriously? IZUKU, W what? Shedding tears. Inko, that's impossible doctor, 100% of the entire population has a quirk. How is it possible that my son doesn't have one? Angry. Doctor, it was 100%. Your son breaks that percentage. Look at these x-rays, ma'am. The doctor began to explain about the joint in IZUKU's toe. While the doctor was explaining to Inko about this, IZUKU was devastated. He cried silently so that they wouldn't see his weakness. IZUKU, mind, I can't be a hero. But what am I thinking? I will be a hero even if the world turns against me. He thought with determination. He would not let himself be crushed by the possibilities or by what others told him. Inko, I see, doctor. Thanks for everything. Bye, seriously. She left with her 2 children. The only thing Inko was thinking about was how her husband would react. She hoped he would take it easy. After all, he was very proud of being the 13th hero, and she was the 15th heroine. She didn't know if he would take it well. She also thought about the shame he would feel saying that a quirkless was his son. When they got to her house, Inko told her everything about Izumi's quirk, and she also told her that IZUKU was a quirk. Hisashi, how is it possible that my son is quirks? Inko, apparently she is angry. Hisashi sighs, well, what can you do? It's disappointing. At least Izumi does have a quirk. Angry. But he said the last thing more calmly. Time speaks 6 years later. In those 6 years many things happened. IZUKU's parents ignored him and mistreated him. They always looked for an excuse to hit IZUKU. For them IZUKU only served as a stress doll. They bullied him a lot at school when they found out he was quirkless. His best friend Katsumi Bakugo, or as he called her, Kaken. She and her brother Katsuki Bakugo, when they found out he was quirkless, they beat him and humiliated him every day. His sister defended him at first, but after a while she thought, Izumi, mind, why do I have to receive insults for him? I have a quirk superior to many. I should be praised, she thought, annoyed. After that moment she stopped protecting him. She even joined in to beat him and humiliate him. The teachers did nothing. They thought that the quirks were useless and did not deserve to be happy. Even with the whole world against him, IZUKU never gave up. He always said that he was going to be a quirkless hero. Whenever he said it, he ended up getting beaten. He always trained his muscles, and he also practiced martial arts. But whenever he defended himself, the students said that it was him who started. And the principal believed them since he thought that IZUKU, being a quirk, was envious of the others. IZUKU always studied being the best in his class. Whenever he got first place in something he showed it to his parents. But they did not give importance to IZUKU since their daughter had gotten second place. The favoritism was noticeable from thousands away. Despite everything he went through, IZUKU never held a grudge against his parents, sister, or friends. I believe that one day they would realize their mistake and apologize so they could go back to how they were before. How wrong I was. Present. IZUKU was 10 years old. He was very excited because he was going to declare his love for his friend Katsumi. Despite everything she had done to him, he did not hold a grudge or anything like that. He fell in love with her little by little. I admired her determination and courage when she said that she would surpass the symbol of peace. Izuku was walking towards the roof of the school, since he had told Katsumi to go there after classes. When he opened the door, Katsumi was waiting there. Katsumi, what the hell do you want, Deku? Annoyed. Izuku, I've wanted to tell you this for a long time, that Katsumi Bakugo, I like you. He said as he handed out some flowers and a box of chocolates. Katsumi, ha, do you think I would like a useless quirks? Ha ha ha, not even in your dreams, Deku. Katsumi threw an explosion in Izuku's face. After that, Katsumi left, leaving Izuku lying on the ground. Izuku mind again. Again I was rejected by Quirkless. First my parents left me aside for being Quirkless, then my friends started hitting me for being Quirkless. Even my sister started hitting me for being Quirkless. What a shitty life. Izuku began to get up little by little. He began to walk towards the door of the roof. Then he began to go down, remembering all the shit he lived. He wondered if in some past life he did something very bad, or if fate simply had fun making him suffer. Time spic. Izuku was returning home. It was late since the explosion that Katsumi left him very dizzy and in pain. When he entered his house, he was greeted by a blow from his sister. Izumi, Mom, Dad, the Quirkless have arrived. You could see his parents coming down the stairs with an annoyed look. Izuku, what's wrong, Pad? Hisashi, don't you dare call me Father Quirks. He slapped Izuku, knocking him to the floor with his cheek red. Izuku, do excuse me. He received a kick from his mother, who was very angry. Inko, who the buck gave you permission to speak? Why are you late? Izuku, it was Katsumi's fault, she hit me. He couldn't finish because his sister grabbed him by the hair and said, Izumi, it's a lie, I saw him go to an arcade to play with his friends. Izuku, mind, but I don't have any friends. Izuku, that's a lie, It didn't end as he was slapped again. Hisashi, how dare you lie to us? Hisashi began to whip Izuku with his belt. Izuku, stop please crying and screaming in pain. Inko, shut up. She used her quirk and put pressure on his ass, suffocating him. Izuku his Tommy, he said with difficulty. Inko K. She used her telekinesis and slammed him against the ground, causing Izuku to break a rib. The only thing Izuku thought was, this night will be long. Time spic. We can see Izuku full of bruises, wounds, burns, and broken bones. Inko, we have to get rid of him, she said seriously. Hisashi, yes, after so much time we will never be embarrassed again, he said calmly. Izumi, Daddy, can you buy me some ice cream? Hisashi, yes, daughter, but after we throw this trash away. After that they got into a van carrying Izuku's body, while later they arrived at a river. Hisashi, I hope I never see you again, seriously. Inko, I say the same thing. Hisashi / Inko, see you never, Quirkless. They threw Izuku's body into the river. That very night the river had very strong currents. What bad luck for Izuku. While Izuku was being released, he said, Izuku screaming in pain, I curse you Midoriya family, if I survive I swear you will suffer the same hell I lived through. These were Izuku's last words to his parents. They heard him, but they didn't give it any importance and went home. Chapter 2 Came House. We can see Izuku being dragged by the strong current of the river. He tried to get out as best he could, but when he tried his whole body started to hurt. Izuku, mind, I'm running out of air. Izuku was so tired and hurt that he couldn't grab onto any rocks to try to get out. After a few seconds he finally lost consciousness. Time spic. Izuku, damn son. He looked up and saw a roof. He looked to the side where the window was. After a few seconds he realized that he was still alive. Izuku, but how am I alive? Surprised. He began to look around and realized that he was in a small room. He also realized that it was full of bloody bandages. Before he said anything, an old man opened the door of the room and entered. When he saw him, he was surprised and worried. Old man, hey kid, don't move, your wounds might open. Izuku, what wounds? Izuku began to remove the bandages. When he finished, you could see that the wounds were gone, and only his scars remained. Old man, your quirk is regeneration? Izuku, I don't have a quirk, seriously. Old man, and how do you explain that your wounds healed at an extremely high speed? Seriously. Izuku, well, I don't know. Every time I got hurt, it always healed. I have nothing else to say, he said with clear sincerity. Old man sighs. Okay, I'll believe you this time. What's your name? Calm. Izuku, I'm Izuku, just Izuku, serious. Old man, I see. Izuku, it's rude not to say your name when someone says their name, you know? Old man, my name is Mutant Rashi, former martial arts fighter. Izuku, I didn't expect to meet the great master Rashi, nicknamed the Great Puffer Fish, mockingly. Rashi, there are young people today, and how did you end up like this? Izuku, in short, I was despised by my family for not having a quirk, to the point of trying to kill me, he said in a normal and calm way. Rashi, what a shitty life. Izuku, yeah. Rashi, and what will you do? Izuku, I was thinking of training and becoming strong so I could be a hero. Rashi sighs. I guess you don't have anywhere to stay, right? Izuku just agreed with a little embarrassment, since his incredible plan was a really bad one. Rashi, you can stay at my house. Izuku, thanks, old man. Rashi, okay, let's train. Izuku, what? Rashi, don't you want to be a hero? If so, get up and start running. Izuku got up, and when he left the house he saw that he was on a small island. Note: ignore Goku on the flying cloud. Izuku, how come we are in the middle of the old sea? Surprised. Rashi, thanks to that boat, he said, pointing to a small boat and 2 oars next to it. Izuku, and that? He said, pointing to some somewhat strange magazines. Rashi, these are things that I will teach you one day, only when you are ready, he said wisely. Izuku agreed and started running around the island. Time spick 1 hour. Izuku had finished going around the island. Needless to say, he was very tired. Izuku, and now what, old man? He said, tired. Rashi, now this. He put a weight in each of Izuku's hands. Izuku, what the heck, how much does this weigh? He said, trying to stand up, but it was very difficult for him. Rashi, maybe 50 or 80 kilos, I think, he said without interest. Izuku, you know I'm still a 10-year-old preteen, right? Rashi, less complaining and more action. Brat, get up and hit the air. Izuku, but I can't even stand up. Rashi, then try until you can. You will not rest until you stop and start punching the air, and if you can't, it's because you can't be a hero. Rashi, mind, excuse me, kid, but you have to realize your limits and what differentiates you from people with quirks. Rashi wanted Izuku to realize that he doesn't have the strength to be a hero. He knew that if Izuku went against a villain, they would kill him. He wanted him to realize that the world is not a bed of roses, and that currently everyone depends on a quirk to be a hero. But Izuku GGRAAA. He saw how Izuku stood up and put his arms in front of his head. Then he began to punch the air. Then he covered himself and began to move like a boxer and began to punch the air again. Rashi's jaw almost dropped to the floor, and he asked himself again, does this kid really not have a quirk? Izuku's physical abilities were far above the average of people with a quirk, which surprised him. After 10 minutes of punching the air, Izuku got tired and sat on the ground very agitated. Izuku Q, are you still old? He said, very tired. Rashi, I'll give you these wristbands. Each one weighs 25 kilos. From now on you'll have one of these on your arms and feet, okay? Izuku, okay, he said without complaining. He put on weights and started running to get used to having 100 extra kilos. Time spick 1 hour. Izuku was resting. He had to admit that Rashi's training was quite demanding. Never in his life had he had to train so much in one day. Rashi, your training is over. Go rest, smiling. Izuku, thank you. He entered the house and laid down on an armchair. Rashi, here, he said, handing him an apple. Izuku grabbed the apple and started eating quickly. Rashi, no thanks? He said a little mockingly. Izuku with mouth full glaciers. Rashi, ha ha ha, eat before you talk, it's rude, he said smiling. Time spick 30 minutes. Rashi, hey, stop lazing around and follow me. Izuku, well. After that Rashi took him to another room where there was a small table. Izuku, and now what? Rashi, now you are going to study. Izuku, and that for what? Or what? Rashi, I don't want my student to be just muscle without a brain. Now grab those books and start studying. IZUKU H. Hi. IZUKU grabbed some books and started studying math. After a while, Rashi wrote math questions. The questions were for high school seniors. Rashi had put difficult math questions to make a couple of jokes. But when IZUKU gave him the sheet with the answers, he was surprised. All the answers were correct. At that moment, Rashi realized that IZUKU was a prodigy both physically and mentally. Rashi, wow, you got a 100 surprised. IZUKU, you drew a happy. Rashi, mind, I just discovered a diamond in the rough, lol. After IZUKU's celebration and Rashi's thoughts, IZUKU went to an old room where there was only a bed, a table, a chair, and an old wardrobe full of dust. Rashi, this will be your new room. IZUKU, better than I thought, smiling. IZUKU, mind, this is better than my idea of living in a forest, using a cave as a house, and hunting animals to survive. Rashi, well, get comfortable and go to sleep, bye. After that, Rashi closed the door and went to his room, which was full of weird posters. Rashi, finally some privacy, hee hee. Rashi took out a somewhat weird album. When he put it on, some music similar to GTA San Andreas was heard, and then some applause. With IZUKU. He was lying in his bed trying to sleep, but every time he closed his eyes he remembered how he was mistreated by his family and the rejection of his best friend. IZUKU, we'll see each other soon. Midoriya family? Chapter 3, IZUKU vs. Rashi. Time spic 3 years. IZUKU was already 13 years old in total. His training was not easy, since whenever he got used to carrying a certain weight, Rashi would double it. He had to admit that Rashi's training was like hell, but the results were the best. IZUKU, hey old man, what are you going to teach me today? Rashi, the turtle style. IZUKU, turtle style, what is that? Rashi, it is a fighting style that I perfected throughout my career as a martial arts fighter. The turtle style combines different fighting styles, which is why it will be very useful to you. IZUKU, great. Rashi, pay close attention. Master Rashi began to teach him the movements and attacks, as well as how to evade different types of blows from the opponent. After an hour of explanation from Rashi, he decided that it was time for IZUKU to practice it. Rashi, now it's your turn, IZUKU. IZUKU, okay, but could you at least take off these weights for me? Rashi, I already told you, you will only take off those weights when the situation requires it, okay? IZUKU sighs, okay. Time spic 2 hours. In all that time, IZUKU had not stopped replicating his master's movements. Rashi had to admit that IZUKU was an unmatched prodigy in martial arts. His ability to adapt to any situation, the ease with which he learned, and his intelligence to make strategy, all that combined made IZUKU a unique prodigy. IZUKU, ready, sighs, what's next? Rashi, in 10 months the exams for the School of Heroes or whatever it's called start. IZUKU, it's called UA Academy, or just UA I think. Rashi, yes, whatever, now we will put your skills into practice, and for that you will have to fight against me. Thank goodness we are in a forest. I would not like to rebuild my house because of the fight, he said, getting into a fighting stance. IZUKU, I hope you don't break your bones, old man, he said mockingly. Rashi, remember that I do have a quirk, he said mockingly. IZUKU, hey, that hurts, he said, pretending pain. Everything was silent until a leaf fell from a tree. When the leaf hit the ground, the two of them started to fight. IZUKU was trying to land different blows on the old man, but he always dodged them and counterattacked. Rashi, concentrate, and look for an opening. IZUKU began to think more about each attack, giving good results, since every time IZUKU missed a blow he could cover himself from Rashi's counterattack. At one point Rashi tried to kick him, but IZUKU dodged it and hit Master Rashi with his knee in the abdomen. IZUKU, ha, what did you think of that, old man? Rashi, hee, not bad, but you still need more. The master hit him on the chin. IZUKU was a little dizzy, something that Rashi did not waste. He gave IZUKU a combo of blows, leaving him very damaged. IZUKU, hhhh. IZUKU, mind, how the hell can he get so strong? Rashi, I'm sure you're wondering why I have so much strength, right? You're still the same distracted brat as always. Remember what my quirk is. IZUKU, empowerment. Rashi, exactly, my quirk allows me to strengthen my muscles to the point of making them grow. IZUKU mind, but like every quirk it must have a weakness, but which one? Rashi lunged and kicked him from the right. IZUKU covered himself with his forearm and tried to counterattack by grabbing Rashi's foot and whipping him. But before he could do that, Rashi used his other foot and turned 180 degrees on his own axis and kicked IZUKU on the right side, leaving him lying on the ground. IZUKU mind, shit, he's very strong and faster than me, not to mention that he has many years of experience in martial arts. Rashi, are you going to give up now? IZUKU, no. Rashi, didn't you want to be a hero? IZUKU, yes. Rashi, did you not want to see the Midoriya suffer? IZUKU, yes. Rashi, then get up and fight. IZUKU, that's it. IZUKU stood up. On his body you could notice how many veins stood out. IZUKU's blood was boiling. His gaze was that of a hunter looking at his prey. Note: imagine that the red things on your chest are veins. Without further ado, let's continue. Rashi mind, his size increased a lot. What the hell is this brat? I'll have to use him. Rashi began to strengthen his muscles to the maximum. Rashi's muscles had grown quite a bit, also his size measuring almost as much as IZUKU. It seemed that the veins in his arms were going to burst. Rashi, I hope you're ready, brat, seriously, he said, taking off his glasses so as not to break them during the fight. IZUKU GGRAAA. Rashi mind, apparently he has lost his sanity. Could it be some kind of berserk state? Before he could continue thinking, he was grabbed by the neck. Rashi reacted quickly and kicked one of IZUKU's ribs, causing him to release his neck. Rashi, calm down. IZUKU, die. IZUKU continued attacking. His blows were strong, very strong, but the disadvantage he had was that he did not think when attacking. On Rashi's side, he was dodging IZUKU's blows. Even though his blows were fast and highly destructive, they were very obvious and easy to know their trajectory. Rashi, that's enough, IZUKU. IZUKU GGGRRAA. Rashi mind, it's like I'm fighting a wild animal. At that moment Rashi realized that IZUKU was in a state of fury. He couldn't think clearly, and was only guided by his instincts. If he wanted to get out alive, he had to knock him out or make him see reason, although he discarded the latter idea when he saw IZUKU's reaction. IZUKU YO Killer GGRRAA. Rashi, angry macaque. The two began to exchange blows, either of them backing down, but it could be seen that Rashi had a great advantage, since IZUKU did not think about each attack he gave, giving Rashi the advantage. Rashi mind, I'll take advantage of this while IZUKU recovers quickly. IZUKU threw a hook at Rashi. He dodged it and hit IZUKU with his knee, breaking a couple of his ribs. IZUKU GGGRRAA. IZUKU kill. IZUKU struck again without thinking. With each blow he threw, a large gust of air was created that destroyed several trees at once. He threw a punch without thinking. Rashi dodged it and put all his quirk into his left arm and punched him in the jaw with all his strength. IZUKU was launched with great force, destroying several trees in his path until he reached a mountain where he crashed and was embedded. Rashi, he's a phenomenon. He made me surpass my limit using my quirk, he said, seeing how his left arm was very purple, and with the muscles turned from forcing them to strengthen. After that, Rashi took IZUKU to the island with his last strength. As soon as they arrived at the island, Rashi laid down on the sand to rest. Time spic. IZUKU, what the hell happened? Why are my ribs broken? TSK. Damn, it hurts. Rashi, you finally woke up, brat. Go eat something, he said calmly. IZUKU, who won? Rashi, yo, but if you train a little more you will beat me, ha ha ha. He laughed proudly at how strong his student was. IZUKU, what happened to your arm, old man? Rashi, I think the Manolas did harm me, ha ha ha. IZUKU, I see, then tell me what the Manolas are, bye. IZUKU went to rest in his room since his head and ribs hurt a lot, not to mention the physical fatigue. Rashi, he almost beat me, and I'm almost at the level of someone in the top heroes. This boy will be great, smiling. With IZUKU. IZUKU, in 10 months, only 10 months to take the test, I'll have to train hard, hee. After that IZUKU changed his clothes and settled into his bed until he fell asleep. Chapter 4, Admission Exam for the UA. Arc, the UA Heroes Academy. Time spick 10 months. After the fight against his master, Izuku began to train harder. Every day was like being in hell for him. Whenever he finished a day of training, he had tired muscles and one or another broken bone. Izuku was not bothered, since he knew that every day with that training he made him stronger, and he was not wrong. At Kame House. Rashi, come on, you can do it, damn it. Izuku, I try. Izuku, when did you put ice on this crap? Rashi, well, I don't know, maybe everything, hee. Izuku was upset, but he let it go and entered the giant tub. He couldn't describe it. It was as if your body was asking you to get out as quickly as possible, as if it were burning you. Izuku, could you please remind me why the hell I'm doing this? Rashi, because you lost at rock, paper, scissors, he said calmly. Izuku, why did you take out a gun? Rashi, so what? The game never tells you that there is a gun, but the game doesn't prohibit you from choosing a gun. After 30 minutes, Izuku got out of the tub. Izuku, shit, today is the entrance exams. Rashi, run, hitch, run. After that, Izuku put on a black jacket and got on the boat, where he began to row. After 5 minutes of rowing quickly as if it were a speedboat, Izuku went to the UA running as if his life depended on it. At the UA, all the participants were talking until a taste of wind made everyone turn to look. What they could see was a boy with brown hair turning red, with a mole above his lip. He had black pants. On his torso you could see a white tank top, and on top of the shirt a very cool jacket. On the women's side. Woman 1, did you see how handsome he is? Woman 2, yes, it is very hexy, biting her lip. Woman 3, I confirmed. Woman 4, I want him to hit me, get me pregnant, and abandon me. I want to live with my in-laws. All the girls looked at her as if to say, what did you smoke? Woman 1, that's weird. Woman 4, but am I right? Woman 1, 2, and 3, but you're right, ha ha ha. On the men's side. Man 1, look at that pretty boy, tisk, he dislikes me. Man 2, it's true, surely his parents spoil him, tsk, what a shame for our race. Man 3, he sure uses steroids, tsk, people like him dislike me. Man 4, as for what scared the pretty boy. They started betting to humiliate Izuku. With Izuku. Izuku, what a beautiful day, nothing could ruin it. Man 4, hey brat, give me your money now. Izuku, why should I give you my money? Man 4, why do I order you, bastard? Izuku, someone so inferior to me is trying to humiliate me? Man 4, now you'll see. Man 4 used his quirk, which was called sense elimination. When the man used it, Izuku lost his sight momentarily. Man 4, now kneel down and give me your money. All the participants gathered to record the humiliation. Izuku, I repeat again, why does someone so inferior to me try to humiliate me? Man 4, if not by good means, it will be by bad means. Izuku, the bad ones? I've heard that phrase many times, and the person who said it never ends well. Man 4 ran and prepared a right hook to Izuku's abdomen. Man 4, let's see what you think about this. Man 4 managed to execute his attack perfectly. The only thing he didn't expect was that he wasn't actually fighting a human, he was fighting a damn demon. Man 4, damn you, what did you do? How can you know where I am? Izuku, I didn't do anything. No, I did something, and that was being superior to you. Izuku began to walk slowly towards Man 4. He was confident since he could not see, so he began to move constantly so that he would not know his location. But Man 4, it hurts. Izuku had dislocated his shoulder in the blink of an eye. Everyone was shocked and excited by that massacre, but all good things must come to an end. Stop, or I will be forced to act seriously. Izuku, so Shota Aizawa, or better known as the Eraser Hero Eraserhead, he said, seeing an incredible hero before his eyes. Aizawa, I see you know me well. He couldn't finish because he was interrupted by Izuku. Izuku, please sign it. He said, handing her a book that said, Quirk Information for the Future. The book was open right on the page where he had Aizawa's information. Aizawa, what? Confused. Izuku, I ask you to sign the sheet. You are my favorite hero. It would be an honor to have my book signed by you. Aizawa was surprised. No, child, young person or adult had told him that he was his admirer, that filled him with happiness. It was a new feeling for him. Aizawa, okay, no problem, giving a very small smile. Aizawa put his signature on the sheet where his information was and on the face of the book at Izuku's request. Izuku, I really appreciate it. Without further ado, I'm leaving to take the entrance exams, he said, bowing 90 degrees and then running away. Aizawa, who would say that I have an admirer, he said, smiling. Time spic. Izuku was in the room where the presenter had to speak. Present mic, everyone say YEAHHHH. All. Izuku YEAHHHHHBABE. All the participants started to look at him with a face of, are you serious? Present mic, I like that boy, plus 5 points in English if you pass. Izuku, let's go baby. After that, Present mic began to explain how the 2 exams would be, then he began to tell which were the 4 robots. But before he talked about the 0 point, a blue-haired boy raised his hand. Lita, I can talk. Present mic, yes. Participant, nobody cares. Lita, the presentation brochure says there are 4 robots. If it is a printing error, the UA should feel ashamed of itself for such a lack of professionalism. And you, the massive muscled, 2-meter silverback, stop mumbling things. It's annoying for the other participants. Participant 1, not for me. In fact, he told me quite a few strategies to get through, which I appreciate. Participant 2, he helped me with some stalkers. Participant 3, he gave me some honey candies when I was nervous at the entrance. And so everyone continued to speak well of Izuku. In short, Izuku was a good Samaritan wherever he went, always doing good deeds. Lita, TSK, I have nothing more to say. Lita sat down very angry since he couldn't correct Izuku. Time spic. After that, Izuku took the practical exam where he did quite well. He also saw a green-haired girl and 2 twins that he didn't like seeing again, but he couldn't do anything, so he decided to control himself. After a few minutes, everyone positioned themselves behind a door. When it opened, Izuku shot out at great speed. Present mic, what are you waiting for? In a battle royale there is no countdown. After that, everyone started running, but all they saw were destroyed robots. Time spic, 20 minutes. Izuku could be seen sitting on a mountain of broken robots, and using robot parts as a throne. Note, ignore Itadori and the ribs. Also imagine that they are robots, not skulls, and also imagine that it is Izuku with his black jacket. Izuku sighs, I thought this would be more complicated. I see I was wrong, he said, bored. In a dark room. Don't you think this year's candidates are interesting? Yes, Director Nizu, they are good and many of them will be great heroes one day. Nizu, who is interested in Cement? Cement's the twins who have the explosion quirk, have potential, but they just need to change that grumpy villain attitude. Nizu, interesting. Do you think Vlad King? Vlad King, the girl who enlarges her hands and uses martial arts. With good training she can become a good hand-to-hand combat heroine. Nizu, to you, All Might? All Might, the green-haired girl, surely she will be the best, lol. Nizu, I see you, Midnight? Midnight, that red-haired boy, he's so hexy that he turns me on like a virgin, he fascinates me, she said excitedly. Everyone looked at her strangely, but they let it pass this time. Nizu, already you, Aizawa? Aizawa, the red-haired one, he is the best. Everyone started looking for the red-haired boy with their eyes until they found him sitting on a mountain of 3-point robots, since the 1-point and 2-point ones were scattered. Nizu began to search for information about the boy. Nizu, here it says. Name Izuku. Surname unknown. Relatives unknown. Crime record 0. Quirkless. Everyone was in shock, and wondered, is this boy really quirkless? Cements, that's impossible, Director. Nizu, we did blood tests on the applicants, so this information is real, but the question is, how is he so strong? All Might, that information is wrong, Director, either it's that, or it's the work of some villain. Nizu, does it bother you that a quirkless is doing what you couldn't do back then? All Might, tisk, that's not what I meant. Nizu sighs, I will release the 0 point. Nizu pressed a red button. In the false city. Everything started to shake, until everyone saw 0 points come out from behind a building. The giant robot began to walk, but thanks to the tremor generated by her red hair, it was trapped. Help please. In front of her was Izumi and the Bakugo twins. In the dark room. All Might, surely the girl will save him, lol, she is the best in the exam. Everyone looked at him a little badly, but they continued to watch the screen. Niza mine, since when did you become so proud and arrogant, Tashinori? In the false city. Izumi, ha ha ha, help you? Rot, you damn useless thing. Katsuki, what the nerd said. Katsumi, ha ha ha, why don't you go ask your parents for help? Honestly, you can't because they're dead. Izumi / Katsuki / Katsumi, ha ha ha. After that they left quickly, leaving the red-haired girl crying. In the dark room. Everyone started to look at All Might with a slightly annoyed face. All Might, it was a strategic retreat, lol, how clever. Everyone wanted to punch him in the face, but they held back. In the false city. The whole conversation was heard by Izuku. He was extremely upset. His blood was boiling in fury. Before the robot could step on it, Izuku punched it hard in the head, destroying it. Izuku began to fall and landed with great style, worthy of a real man. Present mic, time's up. Everyone was surprised by such a display of power on Izuku's part. The girl was about to say something, but before she could speak, he pulled her out of the rubble and carried her in a bridal manner. The girl was blushing a lot. She could feel Izuku's strong arms, she could see his well-worked pectorals as if they were those of a bodybuilder. Izuku took her to recovery gear. As soon as he put her down, she started to leave, but before he left, the girl asked him, "What is your name?" "Izuku, my name? I'm Izuku, just Izuku." After that, Izuku left the UA, he ran and then swam to the Kame house. At Kame house. Rashi, and how did it go? Izuku, shit. Everything is boring, he said, disappointed. Rashi, ha ha ha, that's the price of becoming strong, smiling. Izuku, but hey, I can't complain, I'm going to sleep, old man. Please lower the volume of the GTA San Andreas that you bought at Don Pepe's store. It's probably fake because every time you play you only hear applause. Well, bye. Rashi, hee hee, yeah right, GTA San Andreas, hee hee. After that, Izuku went to his bed to rest. Maybe the entrance exams didn't pull him out, but sleeping is always essential for anyone. After a few minutes he was able to sleep. Chapter 5, First Day of School. A week later. After the entrance exam, Izuku waited a week. Rashi, Izuku, you got the letter from UA? Izuku, have. Izuku opened the letter. When he opened it, some kind of circular thing came out of the box. Izuku, run, Rashi. Rashi, why? Izuku, the UA sent us an anal probe. Izuku threw the circular thing. When it fell to the floor, a hologram came out. In the hologram. Aizawa, are you recording already? Okay, good afternoon, young Izuku. This where's my little Niza paper? Niza whispering, here is the shot. Aizawa received the paper and began to read. Aizawa, you got a perfect 100 on the written exam, and on the practical exam you got. Aizawa opened his eyes in surprise. Aizawa, 400 points, 340 villain points and 60 rescue points. Welcome to UA. This will be your school of heroes and blah, blah, blah. They stopped recording. End of the hologram. Izuku, come on, I could get through, old man. Rashi, that wasn't obvious? Izuku, well, if you put it like that, yes, it was obvious, hee hee hee. Rashi, well, let's train you, bucking loser. Izuku, H hi. Time spic 1 week. Izuku, I have to go to UA now. Can I take off these wristbands and knee pads? Rashi, no, go now, my novel is about to begin. Izuku, okay, but don't get angry. Time spic. Izuku was walking through the halls of UA, until he saw a large door that said 1A. Izuku, either it's for people with mutation-type quirks, or they just show off their money, he said with a drop of sweat running down his head. When he entered, he could see Katsuki arguing with a blue-haired boy that he remembered very well. When the blue-haired boy saw him, he went to say hello and in the process, correct Izuku's behavior. Lita, nice to meet you, my name is Izuku Tenya Lita, or better known as Sonic's brother made in China. Lita, more respect for my brother, you are not even half the person he is, And you have to wear the UA uniform, how disrespectful. I barked at Lita with great anger. Izuku was wearing his typical favorite set of clothes. Izuku, first, I am much faster, smarter and wiser than your brother, so I have the right to talk about him like that, and second, I did not bring the UA clothes because there is no way I would buy a set of clothes that costs more than $100. Lita, I'll tell the director that you're not wearing clothes right now. Aizawa, slow down, speedster. Apart from what they told me, there were no clothes for your size at the moment, so there is no problem, said Aizawa, coming out of his hiding place. Izuku thanks Eraserhead, but what are you doing here? Aizawa, call me Aizawa or Shota, and I'm here because I'm your head teacher. All what, a tramp is our teacher? Izuku, more respect to the Eraser hero Eraserhead, he said, annoyed since most of them wouldn't even come close to Aizawa. Aizawa, thanks for that. Izuku, just Izuku smiling. Aizawa, thanks Izuku, but we don't have much time. Aizawa, put this on and go to the training camp, now. Everyone except Izuku HHAI. Izuku, oh my ears. In the men's locker room. Bakugo, ha ha ha, look at these biceps. Kirishima, wow, how manly. Mineta, I confirmed. Everyone was complimenting Bakugo on his physique, making his ego grow even more, until Izuku, achu. Everyone turned to look at him. When they saw his physique, everyone was left with their jaws on the floor. Izuku, what? Do I have something on my face or what? Kirishima, damn, how beautiful, it's exquisite. Mineta, that's how I was, but then I got injured and I never went back to the GYM. Denki, how handsome. Lita, she even has more legs than me. Bakugo, mind that bastard. Bakugo, so what? Surely his quirk is shit compared to mine. Izuku, I knew dogs barked, but seeing a dog talk, wow, that's new. Everyone laughed at Izuku's comment. Bakugo was going to give him an explosion, but Mineta discovered something that he would use for not very holy things. Mineta, look guys, what our ancestors left us. Mineta had found a hole that connected to the women's locker room. Lita, Mineta, don't do that, that's not appropriate for an aspiring hero. Kirishima, that's not for men, Mineta, don't do it. Mineta, Izuku, aren't you curious? Momo's breasts? Mina's butt? After that, Mineta continued naming parts of the girls' bodies. Izuku, I honestly don't see anything wrong with looking at girls' bodies. I mean, we were all born naked and all that. Besides, most of the time I'm just in a t-shirt and boxers at home, and whenever I fight I end up almost naked. I don't see anything good about looking at women's bodies without their permission, so stop you grapes with legs. He said the last thing with a serious voice along with a murderous look like that of a hunter watching his prey. Mineta, be good. He said in fear at Izuku's words. He saw Izuku as a titan and he is a simple ant in the titan's path. In the women's locker room. What's wrong, Jairu? She said, looking at her friend who had her jack embedded in the wall. Jairu, what happens is that Mineta wanted to see our bodies through a hole in the wall. That's what happens, Momo, he said with annoyance. Please stop him, Jairu, he said, covering his body. Yes, stop that pervert. Jairu, Mina, Kirishima, calm down, someone took care of it. Kirishima, who? Jairu, the boy called Izuku, smiling. Kirishima, mind, the one who saved me. When I saw him I didn't have time to talk to him. After class I will thank him for the practical exam. Katsumi, and I wanted to blow that pervert's head off, angry. Izumi, we could have done it ourselves. We don't need a man to defend us. Kirishima, mind, and where did these feminists come from? Time spic. We can see everyone in the training camp. The boys were talking except for Izuku. On the girls' side, they were talking about girl stuff and one or another saw Izuku. Izuku was wearing his UA physical education clothes. The clothes were not his size, so they were very tight, showing his muscles, making the girls blush. Aizawa, let the one who came first in the exams come here. Bakugo, ha ha ha, that was me. Izumi, in your dreams, mine with legs. Bakugo, I have 98 points. Izumi, ja, and I have 102 points. Izuku, and me 400. He said, walking in the middle of the two. Bakugo, who the buck do you think you are? Izuku, someone better than you are. he said in a superior tone, since he could back up his words. Aizawa, enough of this nonsense, listen carefully. Izuku, throw the ball as hard as you want as long as it's inside that circle. Seriously. Izuku, okay. Izumi mind, said Izuku in shock. Izuku mind, I'll only use half my strength. I don't want to send everyone flying. Izuku stood in the middle of the circle and after a minute he threw the ball. The throw was so strong that a large taste of air knocked many of the students away. Everything around Izuku cracked from the pressure generated by the throw. On the side of the ball was going so fast that an explosion could be seen. A sign that it had surpassed the sound barrier. The clouds split when the ball passed through them. Mina W. Wow, amazing. Tokoyami, his strength is monstrous. Amazed. Momo, that explosion means that the ball crossed the sound barrier. Its force is incredible. No, he is incredible. Amazed. Kirishima, that was amazing, with stars in his eyes. Aizawa mind, this boy wasn't lying. I activated my quirk and he still has that strength. Is it true that he is a quirks? How much did he get? Aizawa saw the device that measured the distance of the launch, and what he saw amazed him greatly. Aizawa. Momo, how much do I get, teacher? Aizawa, 3,800. Bakugo, ha, I'm sure I'll do more. Izumi mind, with the OFA, I'm sure I can do more. Aizawa, kilometers. Everyone was left blank. Could anyone other than All Might have that strength? Was the mental question of most. Lita, that's impossible. Aizawa, nothing is impossible in this world, Lita. Katsumi, but it's impossible for him to be that strong. The dog barked. Izuku and the dog kept going, and going. Katsumi, what the hell did you say? She said, trying to give him an explosion. Aizawa was going to stop her, but Izuku got ahead of him. He gave her a little hit on the forehead with a finger. When he did it, Katsumi fell to the floor unconscious. Bakugo, what the hell did you do to my sister, Shiny? This time Aizawa was able to stop him by activating his quirk and holding him with his bandages. Aizawa, not on my guard, but what did you do to him, Izuku? Izuku, I just fainted her. I generated enough friction so that my finger contained enough energy for her brain to stop responding for 5 seconds, causing her to faint. Aizawa, someday you should teach me that technique. Izuku, of course, I just warned you that if the technique is poorly executed it can cause your victim's brain to stop for more than 5 minutes, causing death due to lack of oxygen, he said as if nothing happened. Aizawa, did you use that technique knowing that could happen? Izuku, I have enough experience using the technique. Apart from that, you would have to generate a lot more energy at the tip of my finger, and that would take quite a long time. Aizawa sighs, well, let's continue with this physical test. Mina, this is going to be fun. I didn't finish speaking because a hand covered my mouth. Izuku, I don't recommend it to you, seriously. Izuku felt Mina lick his hand with his tongue. When he felt that, he quickly removed his hand and said, Izuku, hey girl, don't do that again, a little annoying. Mina, I'm not a girl and my name is Mina. Mina, besides, I just gave your hand a little lick, or what, does it turn you on? He said in a mocking tone. Izuku, I don't understand what the word turn on has to do with the fact that you licked my hand. Mina meant is very innocent. It seems that he hasn't talked to a girl for a long time. It's as if he were addressing me as if we were both men. Aizawa, stop talking and let's keep doing the tests. Izuku and Mina, okay. Time spick. After that they started doing the tests where Izuku always came out first, angering the Bakugo and Izumi brothers. She still wasn't sure if he was her brother, but what she was sure of was that she wouldn't let herself be crushed by Izuku. After all the tests, these were the results. 1. Izuku. 2. Izumi. 3. Bakugo. 4. Katsumi. 5. Lita. 6. Kirishima. 7. Momo. Time spick. After Aizawa showed them the results, classes ended. Izuku was walking towards the UA exits. Kirishima, wait. Izuku turned around and looked at a very attractive redhead for him. Kirishima, thanks for saving me in the entrance exam. My name is Jessica Kirishima. Nice to meet you, Izuku. Izuku, I see. Where is your house? Kirishima is around XXXXXXXXXX, around that area. Izuku is on the way to my house. Do you think I should accompany you? Kirishima, of course. Where do you live? Izuku, from your house, straight to the sea, he said calmly. Kirishima, what? But that is more than 100 kilometers from here. Izuku, I thought it was 98 kilometers, but more or less that distance. Is there a problem? Kirishima, you don't spend a lot of money on a taxi or bus? Izuku, I'm running to my house, he said, smiling. Kirishima was even more surprised but did not want to investigate further. Before they could leave the UA, a green-haired girl stood in front of them, stopping him. Izumi, tell me one thing seriously. Izuku, what do you want? He said coldly. Izumi, are you my little brother? Shedding tears. Izuku, you have no right to call me brother. I have to go. Goodbye, Midoriya. Izumi, wait. He said, trying to grab his arm, but before he could do anything, Kirishima grabbed his hand. Kirishima, he doesn't want to keep talking to you. Izumi, seriously. Izumi, let me go, you damn orphan. Kirishima, sniff, shut up, sniff. Izumi, shut the buck up. Izumi threw a large amount of fire at him. Kirishima didn't think that Izumi would attack, so he couldn't activate his quirk to protect himself, but she felt warm arms hugging and protecting her. When she looked at who it was, she could see Izuku protecting her with his body. She felt an unmatched warmth and security. The fire hit Izuku's back, but he toughened the heat and continued to protect Kirishima until the attack ended. Izumi could see that Izuku was protecting Kirishima, receiving all the fire on his back, burning his clothes. That's how Izuku's entire torso could be seen. He had scars and burns everywhere. Izumi, excuse me, brother. Izuku, don't you dare call me brother. Izumi, you are nothing to me. If you don't want problems, I recommend that you let us pass. Seriously, he said as his eyes lit up in a blood-red color. Izumi didn't say anything and just moved out of his way. Izumi, mind, I messed it up again. I'm a piece of shit person. Izuku walked with Kirishima, leading the UA. Kirishima, Izuku, are you okay? What are those scars? She asked worriedly. Izuku, yes, I'm fine. Please ignore the scars, smiling. Time spic. After what happened with Izumi, Izuku, he accompanied Kirishima to his house. When he left her at her house, she started running until she reached the sea. Then she swam, and in a while she arrived at Kame House. At Kame House. Rashi, how did it go, Izuku? Are you sure you have plenty to choose from? Ha! Izuku, it went well for me, and I don't think any girl would like it sad. Rashi, mind, if only he noticed the looks the girls give him. Rashi, calm down. One day the right one will come to you whispering, or the right ones, he he he. Izuku, may God hear you, old man. Rashi, well, go to sleep, because tomorrow before you leave I will teach you how to make women fall in love with you. Izuku, finally, master, I will be able to know how to conquer. Rashi, yes, go to sleep now. I want to see if there is room in the back. Izuku, well, see you, old man. I hope he doesn't have a heart attack while I'm gone, ha ha ha. Rashi, damn brat. After that, Izuku lay down to take a nap. After a few minutes he managed to sleep like a baby. Chapter 6, Izuku and Momo vs. Bakugo and Lita. Time spic 1 week. We can see Izuku running as if his life depended on it. Izuku, I'm late. Everyone who saw him just thought, he's running late. At the UA. All Might, I'm walking through the door like a normal person. Izuku, move, asshole. Izuku jumped on top of All Might and kicked his face to propel himself to his seat. Izuku sighs, I arrived on time. All Might, young Izuku, don't do that again. Izuku, yes, I understand. Lita, stop disrespecting All Might. Izuku, buck, you cheap Sonic. Lita, tsk, angry. All Might, well, I'm your teacher, the great, authentic, spectacular, unmatched Al. Was interrupted by Izuku. Izuku, the unmatched, All Might sucks the hawk. Class A, lol. All Might, oh, why this brat? All Might, I am your master, All Might, and today we will have heroes versus villains battles, but a hero would be nothing without him. All Might pressed a button and several briefcases came out of the walls. All Might hero's suit. Everyone celebrated and went to put on their costumes. Time spic. They were all gathered in a fake city. They were specifically in front of a large building. All Might, is everyone here? Momo, no, Izuku is missing. Kirishima, I don't see him anywhere, he said, looking for him with his eyes. Everyone heard footsteps, and after a few moments the door opened where Izuku came out in his hero costume. Author, I did the best I could. When Katsumi rejected him and he exploded, it caused that burn on his face, not to mention that he also lost sight in that eye, and the other wounds and the burn on his neck were caused by his family. Kirishima, you look great, Izuku blushing. Kirishima, mind, I think it's not a good idea to ask him about his burn. Momo, it's true, you look very good, slightly blushing. Momo, mind, that amount of burns and cuts are not normal, that is what you have experienced, Izuku. Izuku, thanks, girls, smiling. All Might, okay, since we are all here I will explain what the battles consist of. All Might began to explain. While that was happening, Izuku was looking at Momo and Kirishima. Izuku, mind, Kirishima looks so good, and Momo too, they are beautiful. He thought with a big blush. He had to admit that the two girls were the most beautiful he had ever seen. All Might, and that would be all. After that, All Might chose teams at random and sent them to fight. After half an hour it was Izuku and Momo's turn as heroes and Bakugo and Lita as villains. With the villains. Lita, Bakugo, do you know anything about Izuku? His quirk or something? Bakugo, mind, Izuku, where the hell have I heard that name before? Bakugo, no, and I don't even care, I'm the strongest. Lita, but he was first in Aizawa's physical test, I think we shouldn't underestimate him. Bakugo, TSK, you protect the bomb and I'll do the rest, annoyed. Lita sighs, okay. With the heroes. Momo, do you have a plan, Izuku? Izuku, no, but what I do know is that Bakugo will come for me. You take charge of finding the bomb. Now that I think about it, what's your quirk? Momo, I can create objects based on my body fat, and I also need to know the composition of that object. Izuku, your quirk is awesome, imagine the possibilities, Reaper grenades, stun darts, bulletproof vests and more. Momo, thanks, slightly blushing. Momo, YC, what is your quirk? Izuku, my quirk? IN. All Might, loud voice start. Izuku, you already know the basic plan, you make up the rest, okay? Momo, okay. Boom. An explosion broke the wall. Bakugo came out of the hole throwing small explosions from his hands. Bakugo, I will show who is the best, shiny. Izuku deflected the explosion with his hand, thus preventing his partner from getting hurt. Izuku, Momo, go get the bomb. Momo didn't answer and started to run up the stairs. Bakugo, how did you know I would attack with my right hand, angry? Izuku, because your attack was very predictable and easy to deflect. Apart from that, you are weak. 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 Was what Bakugo's head repeated over and over again. Weak? Had someone just called him weak? Did they call the boy with a gift capable of surpassing All Might weak? He would pay for it, was what Bakugo thought with great anger. Bakugo, I will kill you, shiny. Bakugo started throwing explosions like crazy, but none of them hit Izuku since he dodged them with enviable mastery. It seemed as if Izuku was dancing while skiing. This was noticed by Bakugo, who only got angry. Izuku, goose, goose. Bakugo, don't make fun of me. Bakugo threw a strong explosion with his right hand. The explosion raised a lot of dust, and when it dissipated there was no one. Bakugo thought he had sent Izuku flying, but when he least expected it, someone grabbed him by the feet and slammed him against the floor. Izuku, what happened? Bakugo, didn't you say you would be the #1 hero? Weren't you the one who always boasted about his gift? Well, now you are at my feet, Bakugo. You are below me, and you knew that before this fight. Only that head with a lack of neurons does not accept it. Bakugo, shut up, angry. Izuku, come on, get up, future #1 hero. Bakugo began to get up little by little, but he didn't succeed and just stayed on his knees. Izuku, is the great Bakugo giving up? Bakugo, ha ha ha, give me up, first dead before surrendering to you, Deku. Izuku, so you remember me, huh? Since when? Seriously. Bakugo, since you spoke to me with resentment, but you know what? I don't give a damn, I will win this battle. Bakugo raised his right arm and put his finger on a trigger that his glove had. Bakugo, my sweat is like nitroglycerin. Thanks to this substance I can make my explosions. If they made these gloves as I designed them, then my sweat will be stored, and when I pull this trigger I will release an explosion so strong that you will beg me on your knees. Damn you. All Might loud voice, don't do it, young Bakugo. I could kill you, stop. Bakugo, he won't die if he dodges it. Bakugo pulled the castle, causing a huge explosion against IZUKU, who was just standing there waiting for the attack to connect with him. Boom. It was the sound that echoed throughout the building. Parts of the building began to fall due to the force of the explosion. With Momo. She had found the bomb, so she decided to hide and call IZUKU from the communicator. But before she called him, a strong tremor made her almost fall to the floor. Momo, but what's happening downstairs? Momo felt danger, so she created a shield, and when she turned around, a strong kick hit the shield. Lita, I won't let you touch the bomb, muhahaha. Momo mind got really into the character. With IZUKU. A large amount of smoke rose when the explosion ended. Bakugo, ha 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 ha, in the end, a useless person will always be a useless person. IZUKU useless? Bakugo turned his gaze and the smoke began to disperse, revealing IZUKU with his entire torso uncovered, revealing an incredible amount of burns and cuts all over his body. Note: imagine that he has a burn on the right side of his face and a scar like Kakashi's on his left eye, also with a burn on the left side of his neck. After that, also imagine that he has scars and burns everywhere. Bakugo, how are you still standing? IZUKU, what question is that? Isn't it obvious? That explosion was very weak. Bakugo didn't respond and started throwing punches like crazy that were easily dodged by IZUKU. IZUKU did not want to prolong the fight any longer and said, IZUKU, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I thought it was true. With a quick movement he hit Bakugo on the back of the neck, thus knocking him out. IZUKU, ready. IZUKU started to climb the stairs to go to Momo's. With Momo. We can see Momo fighting with Lita. She was very tired since she always had to block Lita's blows to avoid receiving serious damage. Lita, give up, my quirk is better than yours. Momo, no, someone has faith in my quirk for the first time. I will win this battle. Momo dodged a kick from Lita and with a quick movement created a staff of a rare material that hit Lita in the ribs. After that he hit her in the nose with the shield. Lita, damn. Lita received an electric shock, since the cane had a mechanism at the tip that caused it to release a large amount of electricity. After that, Momo created a cannon with a somewhat low power. She fired the cannon, causing the bullet to hit Lita's stomach, leaving him unconscious. Momo and I won. Momo began to hear some applause. When she turned around she saw IZUKU at the door watching the fight. IZUKU, that was amazing, Momo. Momo, gee, thanks. She fainted, but before she fell to the ground, IZUKU carried her bridal style, then touched the bomb with his foot and declared IZUKU's team the winner. Time spic. All Might, well, that's all for today, bye. Everyone went home, and before IZUKU left he heard a voice calling him. Momo, IZUKU, wait. He said, running to catch up with him. IZUKU, hello Momo, is something wrong? Momo, I wanted to thank you for trusting me in the battles. I honestly think I won by luck, hee. IZUKU, you didn't win by luck, you won because you proved to be better, and there is no doubt about that. He said, smiling, making Momo blush a little, something that IZUKU didn't notice as he continued to be a fool when he came to love and such things. Driver Miss Yairosu, get in the car, shouted a man who seemed to be the driver of the luxury car. Momo, I have to go now, IZUKU, bye. She gave him a kiss on the cheek and ran away. When she left, IZUKU just limited himself to touching her cheek with a small blush. IZUKU mind, this year will be very entertaining. Chapter 7 USJ Part 1 half. Time spic 2 weeks. And so the days went by at UA. IZUKU got along well with several of his classmates, but the ones he got along badly with were the Bakugo twins, Izumi, and President Lita. They hated each other. This was noticed by all of their classmates, but they decided not to talk, except for a pink-haired girl who was quite nosy. Mina, hey IZUKU, she said with her typical lively tone of voice. IZUKU, what happened, Mina? He said with a neutral tone of voice. Mina, why do the twins Bakugo and Izumi not get along? I asked, very curious. Izuku curiosity killed the cat Mina seriously. Mina, but I'm not a cat. Ha ha ha, she said, trying to make Izuku laugh. Izuku sighs, won't you leave me alone until I tell you why not? Mina quickly agreed, drawing the attention of Momo and Kirishima, who came closer to listen. Izuku, when I was 4 years old, I was diagnosed with Quirkless seriously. Everyone was surprised by the statement, and doubts also arose such as, then where does his strength come from? How is he so fast? Etc. Izuku, thanks to that my parents started to hate me. At first my sister supported me, but then she started to hit and humiliate me at school along with 2 twins, and so 10 years passed. During that time my family did not stop torturing me daily for the simple fact of not having a quirk. The few friends I had at school also beat me. When I turned 10 my family hit me so hard that they thought I was dead and they threw me into a river to get rid of my lifeless body. Everyone was surprised, others were angry and others were shedding tears. Momo, Kirishima, and everyone began to have doubts. What did the Bakugo twins have to do with it? What does Izumi have to do with it? Until everyone's head clicked, they realized that Izumi was their sister and the Bakugos were their supposed friends. Mina, don't tell me that. Izuku, yes, Izumi is my sister and the Bakugo are my ex-friends. Todoroki, but how did you survive seriously? Izuku, I'll leave that to your imagination. I'm leaving now. I want to have some vodka. Tokoyami, do you drink vodka? Izuku, yeah. Is there something wrong with it or what? Tokoyami, no. I guess it's to relieve stress. See you, Izuku. After that day, most of Class 1A distrusted the Bakugo twins and Izumi, which was obvious. Who would want to be friends with someone who is capable of torturing you for not having something that they do? Nobody. Class 1A. Aizawa, today we will go to USJ. Lita, that's the USJ, she said, raising her hand. Aizawa, I don't know. Ask your teacher, I'm actually your teacher, hee. Izuku, that wasn't sugar, Aizawa. Note, he who understood. Aizawa, that's why my cats couldn't stop smelling it. Well, let's go to the USJ, if you want to put on your suits or not, as long as you don't break my balls, Gem. Lita, but teacher. Aizawa, learn to shut your ass, Lita. You have me sick of your faggot questions, for the love of God. He shouted as he activated his quirk and intimidated Lita. Lita, I'm sorry to Aizawa-sensei. Izuku, ha ha ha, you're a sissy, Lita. Lita, he won't tell him anything, Aizawa, stuttering with fear. Aizawa, no, because he's my favorite student, or not, Izuku. Izuku, damn it, teacher. The two bumped fists, as if they had known each other forever. Lita, no comments. Time spic. After that everyone got on a bus, and Lita was playing his role as president in an exaggerated way, but nobody judged him since they thought he had schizophrenia. Then Aizawa started driving, and about 30 minutes later the one known as Tsuyu decided to ask Izuku something. Tsuyu, Izuku, I am always very direct and I say what I think. If you don't have a quirk, where does your strength come from? That question had caught the attention of almost the entire class, except Izumi and the Bakugo twins since they were sleeping. Izuku, even I have asked myself this question. I have no idea where my strength comes from. Once I got so angry that I entered a state that my master and I decided to call Demon back. At that moment I was so strong that I was able to destroy half a forest with my blows. Tsuyu, why does this name come from? Izuku, because when I entered that state, a demon formed on my back. The image of the devil himself was on my back. That's the reason for the name. Everyone was surprised, since it was not normal at all, destroying half a forest with his fists. It was something incredible, so much so that someone thought he was lying. Tsuyu, and you managed to enter that state again? Izuku, hey, this seems more like an interrogation. What are you up to? Seriously. Tsuyu, and don't talk to you, I'm nervous, Izuku. Goodbye, she saidly. Izuku, mind that behavior is not normal. I'll be watching you, Tsuyu Azui. Time spic. After about 10 more minutes they arrived at USJ. All the students were amazed as it was a huge dome with the letters USJ. Kirishima, wow, the USJ is impressive, he said, admiring the construction. Momo, it's true, it's a great construction. Sato, I hope I brought enough candy to last me through this whole order. Jiraiya Michael Jackson or Freddie Mercurio? Denki M. I prefer the one that sings. Something homosexual came to him from space, and he will discover all his gay secrets, with super tricks to change, and now he is very gay, very gay. Jiraiya just gave Denki a hard blow on the head. Denki Ayuk, admit it's a good song. Jiraiya never. Aizawa, stop messing around. I want to finish all this shit and go to sleep. 13 Hello, nice to meet you, so. Uraraka, you are the 13th rescue heroine. 13 Damn brat, you ruined my presentation, angry. Uraraka, I'm sorry. 13 As I said, I am 13. Izuku, the more you suck me the more I grow, and your ass shakes. Call a priest to pray for me, in and out until dawn. He didn't finish because Momo pulled his ear. Izuku Ayuk, that hurts Momo. Momo, excuse the interruption, my friend, sometimes he can be very stupid, can you continue? Izuku, that's offensive. Momo, but am I right? Izuku, but you're right. Izuku and Momo, ha ha ha. The two shook hands, but as quickly as they did they parted with a small blush. 13 These kids today, as I said, I am 13, and I will give them a completely unnecessary little speech that the author will surely skip. After that, 13 began to explain to the students how dangerous quirks can be, until a portal opened in the middle of the USJ. Several villain-looking subjects came out of the portal, and 3 in particular seemed to be the strongest. We're here, Shigaraki, said a dark mist that took a form similar to that of a human, but made of mist. Shigaraki Kurojiri, where is All Might? I don't see him anywhere, said a light blue-haired man with many hands on his body and one hand covering his almost entire face. Kurojiri, apparently he is not here. Shigaraki, if you weren't our escape route I would pulverize you. Kurojiri mind, and the dog kept going, and going. With Class 1A. Mina, look, they even have fake villains excited. Izuku, you already noticed, right, teacher? Seriously. Aizawa, yes, seriously. Lita, what are you two talking about? Izuku, that those are real villains. Chapter 8 USJ Part 2 of 2. At USJ. Izuku, they are real villains, seriously. Everyone who heard those words was frightened and panicked. Mineta v villains, we have to go and panic. Mina, but where is All Might? He will save us, right? Desperate. Koda, we have to go, he said with great fear. Ojiro, mine, I have to pee, I think I already did, but not where I should. Toru, what do we do? They are going to kill us, crying. Izuku, shut up, didn't you want to be heroes? If that's the case, then prove it, not by talking, but with actions. Kirishima, it's true, if we work as a team we can get through this. Kurojiri, hello, this is where I come in, and I send your plan to hell. Aizawa, get away from him. Kurojiri, too late. Kurojiri created several portals at once. They were all swallowed and taken to different parts of the USJ. With Izuku. A portal opened above a place full of water. When Izuku opened his eyes, he could see how he fell with his companions Mineta and Tsuyu. He also saw how in the water there were a large number of villains. Izuku, mind shit. If this continues, me and my companions will fall into the water that is infested with aquatic villains. He began to look around and could see a kind of ship not so big, but big enough for the 3 to be safe there. Izuku, Mineta. Mineta, help. Izuku used the power of his punches and grabbed Mineta in the air. Izuku, are you okay? Mineta, I'm bucking hell out. Izuku, good for you, bro. He turned his head and saw Tsuyu. Izuku, help us, Tsuyu. She intended not to hear him, and with her tongue she grabbed a railing of the ship and left without helping her companions. Izuku, shit. The two fell into the water hard, drawing the attention of the villains. Izuku held Mineta and began to swim towards the ship. Villain 2, lol, new prey. Villain 1, leave this to me, I'm the big extra villain, I'll teach you the power of my quirk, water control water dragon. Izuku protected Mineta with his body, and thus received the villain's attack. Villain 1, lol. He started laughing with his eyes closed, but when he opened them he could see that Izuku was almost unharmed. Note: if you're wondering why Izuku is talking, it's because Izuku is swimming so he can talk and breathe. Izuku Mineta, throw as many balls as you can. Mineta, and that for what, or what? Izuku, listen to me. Mineta just agreed and started throwing balls like crazy all over the water. Villain 1, ha ha ha, what are you going to do with this ball? He said mockingly. When the villain touched the ball, it stuck to him. He tried to get it out, but he couldn't. When he asked Villain 2 for help, he also stuck to it. Villain 1, let go of my hand, they'll think I'm gay. Villain 2, you think I don't try? And so almost all the villains hit each other with Mineta's balls. Izuku was swimming quickly with Mineta on his back. When they reached the boat they got on thanks to Mineta's balls, and they could see Tsuyu very calm, as if nothing was going to happen to her. Izuku, why didn't you help us when I called you? Mineta could have died if I didn't catch him. Tsuyu, sorry, but I think I hadn't heard you, Kero. Izuku looked at her angrily, and she responded with a serious look, thus generating quite a bit of tension in the environment. Mineta, see, calm down guys, the good thing is that we got out alive, he said nervously. Mineta wanted to relax the atmosphere a little, and to his surprise he succeeded. Izuku looked away, and Tsuyu, she just sat down. Izuku, let's do this. I'll throw you to the surface, and then I'll swim to where you are, he said seriously. Mineta, but not all the villains are immobilized. Izuku, I'll take care of that. Who will be the first? Tsuyu, he said, raising his hand. Izuku, okay, get ready, he said seriously. He grabbed her feet and began to spin on his own axis, and after a few seconds he threw her. She landed well thanks to her abilities like a frog. Mineta, I hope I don't vomit. Izuku, try it. Okay, ready? Mineta, yes. Izuku, ready? Mineta, yes. Izuku, ready? Mineta, yes. Izuku, you came out, faggot. Izuku threw him the same way as Tsuyu, with the only difference that when he landed he hit his private part with a stone. Izuku, that must hurt. I have heard from afar how Mineta shouted. Mineta, ahhhh, my Pichilea. Izuku, I'd better go swimming, he said with a drop of sweat on his forehead. He jumped off the ship and began to swim quickly. The villains who were still free began to attack him, but they were no problem for Izuku. He simply dodged their attacks or knocked them out with a single blow. After 5 minutes of swimming he was able to reach the surface safely. Izuku, hello, how's life going? Mineta, for shit. The bottom of the mine had broken off, leaving only a purple dwarf. Izuku, mine, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. Tsuyu, and now what are we going to do? Izuku, we will sneak to the center of USJ. His companions just nodded and began to follow him. After a while they almost reached the center, and they could see the brutal beating they were giving Aizawa. Mineta, it seems like they are sticking it to Aizawa, lol. Izuku, that's the stupidest comment I've ever heard, but you're partly right, ha ha ha. Tsuyu was left with a face of, are you serious? Izuku, Tsuyu, Mineta, he said, calling them. They both turned to look at him. Izuku, go to the entrance. I'm sure many of our companions are in that place. They will be safe from any attack there. Mineta, and you? I don't plan on leaving you here. Izuku, I'll be back, bro. He said, extending his fist to her. Mineta, you better. He said, bumping his fist into Izuku's. Tsuyu, let's go, Mineta. She started running, followed by Mineta. Izuku came out of his hiding place and saw the chicken species. Izuku, a chicken? What a surprise that you are not in KFC. Shigaraki, and who are you? Izuku, I don't think they care about my name, but make your chicken on steroids, release my teacher seriously. Shigaraki, or else what? Izuku, I will be forced to use violence seriously. Shigaraki, ha ha ha, you're thinking yourself too much, kid, at least tell me what quirk you have. Izuku, I'm just a quirkless, something more Manolo? Shigaraki, ha ha ha, a quirkless challenges me? Ha ha ha, Nomu, kill him, he said in a bipolar manner. The Nomu launched himself at the green-haired man and threw a right hook at him. Izuku responded by blocking it with his left forearm. Izuku, what happened? Masked. It didn't end because the Nomu's hook was so strong that it sent him crashing into several rocks that were in the area. IZUKU mind is very fast and strong, I will have to be careful. With Class 1A. We can see most of them gathered together discussing how to call the heroes. Lita, what do we do? That villain won't let us out. 13, I have an idea. Everyone turned to look at 13 to hear what his idea was. 13, I will try to absorb it with my quirk, but if it doesn't work, at least I will give you time for someone to escape and call the heroes. Everyone started to discuss and chose Lita since he was the fastest of all those gathered. Lita, I don't plan on leaving them. But then they hear two of their companions arriving. Mineta, someone called the heroes. IZUKU is fighting that thing that Aizawa defeated. Tsuya didn't say anything and just went to a corner to watch the conversation. Denki, hello Mineta. Mineta, hi Denki. As I was saying, you have to call the heroes now, he said desperately. Denki, mind, why do I think he is more mature? Everyone looked at Lita to accept. Lita, okay, let's go. With IZUKU. He was being defeated. That thing was very resistant. Every time he hit it, it held up. I wondered how it was so strong. Until I came to a conclusion. IZUKU mind has more than one quirk. Surprised. Shigaraki, I see you noticed. My Nomu not only has super strength, he also has absorption and regeneration, ha ha ha. IZUKU mind, how is that possible? He couldn't continue thinking because the Noma hit him in the belly. But IZUKU managed to cover himself in time and kick him in the head. The Nomu didn't flinch and grabbed his foot and then whipped him multiple times. IZUKU ahhhhhhh. IZUKU managed to free himself and began to throw multiple combos that didn't hurt the Noma much. Shigaraki, give up, child, and accept your death. Everything you fight for you always ends up losing, everything you love abandons you, and everything you long for is taken away from you. IZUKU, shut up. Several veins began to stand out in IZUKU, his body began to grow in size and so did his muscles, making him very intimidating. Shigaraki, Nomu, finish him once and for all. The Nomu tried to hit IZUKU, but he simply did not dodge it and received it. Shigaraki, ha ha ha, now you will die. But Shigaraki saw how the Nomu's blow didn't hurt him much. Instead, he saw how IZUKU gave a strong blow to the Nomu's head and thus sending him away. IZUKU GGGRRAHHHH. It was the cry that echoed throughout the USJ. The students of Class 1A saw where IZUKU was. Mine and that. Tokoyami is. Mineta, IZUKU. With IZUKU. IZUKU began to attack the Noma mercilessly. The Noma just kept attacking and exchanging blows with IZUKU. The exchange of blows was so powerful that it made the entire USJ tremble. They looked like two monsters fighting for territory, either backing down from the other. It was a fight of equals in strength, speed, and currently intelligence since IZUKU let himself be controlled by anger. Shigaraki, Nomu, kill him now, desperate. Shigaraki scratched his neck hard because of the stress caused by the Nomu not being able to kill IZUKU. IZUKU grabbed the Nomu by the leg and slammed him against the ground. When the Nomu's body bounced back from the impact, IZUKU kicked him, sending him crashing into several buildings that the USJ had. The Nomu quickly recovered and attacked again. IZUKU did the same, giving another exchange of blows. With Class 1A. They felt the whole floor shake with every blow that IZUKU and the Nomu gave. It was incredible to see such beasts fight, although some like Bakugo were envious of IZUKU's power, and Katsumi was also envious of IZUKU but not at Bakugo's level, and on Izumi's side she was just amazed by such a battle of titans. But suddenly they heard the door open with a loud bang. All Might, everything will be okay, and why? Because I am here, said All Might with an annoyed face as he ripped off his tie. Kurojiri, seeing him, ran away because he was not stupid. He had no chance of winning against All Might, and even less with all the heroes behind him. Several heroes entered, followed by All Might making their epic entrance. Midnight, where is the problem? Everyone pointed to the fight between IZUKU and the Noma. Mirko, who is that kid? He's very strong. See how he uses his kicks. I want him in my agency. Niza, slow down, speedster. There's still time for that. Now we have to concentrate on that. All Might meant that boy is almost at my level. Impressive. Niza, where is Aizawa? Aizawa, here I am. He said, walking with many wounds and blood, Quickly his friend present Mike helped him walk. Midnight, who is that hexy boy fighting with that chicken? She said excitedly. Aizawa, it's Izuku. He gave me time to escape, he said, stuttering from the pain. Midnight, I definitely have to make it mine, he said, licking his lips and saying the last thing. Niza, this is not the time for your oddities, Midnight. If you want the FBI to arrest you, it will be later. Niza began to look closely at Izuku's appearance, and saw something that left him stunned. Niza and that back in shock. Cements, what's wrong with the boy's back? Niza, that's the back of a Hanma, surprised. All Might, will talk about that later, Nizu. Now I have to help Izuku seriously. Niza, wait, he said, stopping All Might. All Might, there's no time, Niza. I have to help him, he said seriously and a little angry. Niza, leave it. I want to see his capabilities seriously. Everyone looked at him as if he was crazy. Cements, it may be strong, but we cannot risk a student's life. Niza, I know, but listen to me. Niza, he will win. With Izuku. Each blow tired him more. Izuku was on the verge of fainting from exhaustion. Shigaraki, ha ha, what happened, brat? Izuku, grrraa. Little by little Izuku's strength was fading away. The Nomu took advantage of that and hit him in the ribs, sending him towards some rocks. Izuku, shit, he said, tired. Izuku had lost his demon back form. He was vulnerable. Shigaraki came up to him and said, Shigaraki, after this I will grape your two friends. They will scream for help while you can't do anything, ha 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 ha, he laughed psychotically. Hearing those words, Izuku became so angry that he reached for the demon back again, only this time stronger and angrier. Izuku DAASS, GGRRAA. Shigaraki Nomu, kill him, he said with fear. The Nomu stood in front of Izuku and tried to hit him, but he dodged it and gave him several blows to the abdomen and then kicked the Nomu in the ribs. Izuku died. He hit the Nomu in the jaw, destroying it and sending it flying. The Nomu crashed into rock after rock until it became embedded in one of the few walls of the USJ. Izuku continued to run furiously after Shigaraki, but before he could hit him a mist appeared and said, Kurogiri, not today, master, maybe in another chapter. The mist disappeared along with Shigaraki, leaving Izuku very angry. Izuku GGGRRAA. After that scream that echoed throughout the USJ, he fainted, but was caught by Midnight, who was running after Izuku as soon as Kurogiri appeared. Midnight, you are amazing, Izuku. You deserve my respect and love, she said, smiling. Chapter 9. After the battle. Mistreated Hospital. We can see a green-haired boy opening his eyes little by little, and all he saw were several doctors arguing. Dr. 1, so, what is your condition? Seriously. Dr. 2, 4 broken ribs, jaw out of place and cracked, microfractures in the skull, broken nose, spine out of place and almost all the bones in both arms broken. That's what the X-rays from 2 days ago say, he said seriously. Dr. 3, there's nothing to do, right? Dr. 2, unfortunately, he will not be able to return to the UA for approximately 5 years. Or perhaps he will never return. Dr. 1, have they already informed your family? Dr. 2, there is an old man who claims to be your adoptive grandfather. Dr. 1, we will have to call him, please call him. Dr. 3, okay. When Dr. 3 went to call the old man, a noise was heard near the stretcher. The doctors turned to see who made the noise, but all they saw was Izuku doing some stretches. Izuku, how my back hurts, I think I understand Rashi now. Dr. 1, see, how are you standing? Dr. 2, it's impossible, sit down, you're not in a state to stand up. Izuku, no way, I can't skip my training, now that I think about it. Who brought me to the hospital? Dr. 1 was the heroine Midnight, accompanied by several heroes and heroines. Izuku, so I guess I'll have to thank her later. Izuku began to do other types of stretching, shocking the doctors as he supposedly would not be able to move for an estimated time of 2 years and another 3 years of therapy. The door opened and the doctors turned to look, and only saw an old man who seemed to be in his last moments. Rashi, everything okay, brat? FUA, they really bucked you up, ha ha ha. Izuku, something like that, wait for me a little. Izuku grabbed his jaw and twisted it. Crack! Was the noise that Izuku's jaw made. Izuku ready, why do I have bandages on my nose? Dr. 3, we had to operate on your nose, but there is still another operation to adjust your nose correctly. Izuku, nah, calm down bro, I'll do it. Izuku removed the bandages that surrounded his nose, then with one of his hands he turned his nose that was a little crooked. Crack. Izuku had adjusted his nose as if it was nothing. He didn't scream, he didn't grimace in pain, nothing. That was what surprised the doctors, since normally doing that without anesthesia it would hurt quite a bit. Izuku ready, my king, can I go now? I have to train today no matter what. Dr. 1, we will give you some X-rays and if you don't have any problems we will discharge you. Dr. 2, I almost forgot, the director of the UA says that there are no classes for a week, but since you have already recovered you can go as soon as your classes start again. Izuku, great, let's start quickly because I want to go now. Time spic. After that the doctors started doing X-rays and movement tests on Izuku. He just completed them easily. After a couple of paperwork Izuku and Rashi went home. At Kame house. Izuku, where are my wristbands, Rashi? Rashi, they broke during your fight. What did you fight against? Izuku, if I remember correctly, before he started fighting the Nomu, a guy who looked like a drug addict, never tired of saying that the Nomu was stronger than All Might. That's all I know. The beast is called Nomu and I don't know anything else about the other villains. And they also called themselves the League of Graped, I think, yes. League of Graped, that's what they were called. Rashi, interesting, although I don't think that was the name of the group. I'm sure you got confused because I was deaf. Izuku, okay, let's train. Rashi, no. Izuku, why not? He said, a little annoyed. Rashi, not everything is training, you also have to eat, play and rest, those are the bases for a good condition. Never forget it, Izuku, he said a little seriously. Izuku, did you ever wonder how the UA delivered my points letter? Rashi, no, why? Izuku, because we are in the middle of the sea. Rashi, good question, but I guess it's the power of the script. Izuku, yes, that's for sure. At the UA? All Might, is that what you wanted to tell me, director? Niza, did you see the boy who fought that monster? All Might, yes, it is very strong, someone to admire. Izuku, now I asked you a question, All Might, do you know the Hanma family? He said seriously. All Might sounds familiar to me, but no. Niza, I'm going to give you a brief summary. A long time ago, at a time when the profession of heroes was not legalized, a man named Yujiro Hanma. Listen to me very carefully and remember this name, Yujiro Hanma, also known as the Monster of Okinawa. This man defeated the United States alone, he said seriously while drinking tea. All Might, just one man? How is that possible? What quirk did he have? He said surprised. Niza, that's the surprise, he didn't have a quirk. All Might, impossible. Niza, very possible. He killed more than 5,000 soldiers and among them 90% had very powerful and destructive quirks, and this whole battle was on a small island in the territory of Okinawa. All Might, but what does that man have to do with Izuku? Niza, let me finish. Yujiro had a son named Yujiro Hanma. This man was nicknamed the Ogre. Do you know why they called him that? All Might, know why. Niza, because of his back and sadistic and psychopathic attitude. He was a mercenary very well paid by the governments of different countries. He was in charge of eliminating anyone who told him, obviously, as long as they paid him. It did not matter if a child, a pregnant woman, or an old man crossed his path. If he crossed his mission, he killed him. It is said that Yujiro Hanma was much stronger than his father when he awakened something that he decided to call demonic back. Every time he got angry his muscles grew, and especially those of his back. Whenever that happened a demon was drawn on his back. All Might, how strong was it? Niza, so strong that he forced a peace treaty with the United States. Continuing with the story, he had a son named Baki Hanma. His birth was with the sole purpose of being stronger than his father Yujiro. When he fulfilled it, when he finally managed to awaken the demonic back and be stronger than Yujiro, Baki killed his father seriously. All Might, why did I kill him seriously? Niza, Yujiro was the murderer of his mother, and the main reason why his whole life was shit. After that, Baki walked away from society, leaving all kinds of friends or family. All Might, but I keep asking, what does Izuku have to do with the Hanma? Don't tell me that in shock. Niza, that's Tashinori. Izuku is a Hanma. All might be, but how? Nizu, apparently before Baki left the city, he had had a partner whom he abandoned and left pregnant seriously. Nizu, and in the fight with that monster, Izuku awakened the demonic back, but from what I saw it was not complete. When his back is complete, his blood will boil so much that you will notice where his veins and his heart are, and also his hair will turn redder. All Might then will have to keep an eye on Izuku. He could be a future villain, he said seriously. Nizu, exactly, he can be a potential danger by having the blood of born killers. I want this conversation not to leave this room, okay? All Might, okay, director. Time spic 1 week. We can see the entire Class 1A sitting except Izuku. The door opened, and we saw Izuku entering as if nothing had happened. Everyone looked at him in surprise. They didn't expect their partner to recover so quickly. Mineta, a drug dealer. Izuku, great with legs. The two high-fived each other like they were friends forever. Lita, hello Izuku. I know I should be worried and all that, but why do you always come wearing clothes that aren't from school, he said angrily. Izuku, Lita, it's 8 in the morning, don't get on my nerves. Lita, I will call the principal for your behavior and not respecting the dress code. Izuku, mind, are there dress codes? Who the buck cares? But before Lita left, a person entered the room. Aizawa, hello, he said with his typical tired tone. Lita, Aizawa, Izuku doesn't respect the dress code, you should punish him. Aizawa, Lita, it's 8 in the morning, don't get on my nerves. Lita just sat angrily in her seat. Izuku, how are you, Aizawa? Aizawa, what do you think? He said while pointing at all his bandages. Izuku, where are you going with those looks, Aizawa? Mineta, ha ha ha. Aizawa sighs, good one, but now sit in your seats because I have to make an announcement. Izuku and Mineta didn't say anything else and went to their seats. Kirishima, how are you, Izuku? Izuku, Jewel. Momo, Izuku, how did you recover so quickly? Izuku, power of the script, no lie, I always had a great regeneration. Momo, so if you cut off an arm it regenerates? Izuku, not at that level, but broken bones, burns and different types of bumps and cuts. Izumi, hello her Izuku, he said smiling. Izuku, what do you want, Izumi? He said coldly. Izumi, I just wanted to ask you if you're going with us to the friends outing tomorrow? Izuku, who will go? Izumi, the Bakugo, and... I didn't finish saying when I was interrupted by Izuku. Izuku, no, if you don't have more to say, goodbye. Momo, come on Izuku, we'll go too, and if you want, that pervert. He said at first kindly and at last with disgust. Izuku, don't talk like that about my friend, he said seriously. Kirishima, but he's telling you the truth, he's a disgusting pervert, why don't you stop being friends with that idiot? Izuku, don't talk about him like that, it's not his fault that he's someone with more hormones than normal, and if I don't want to stop being friends with him it's not his problem. Izumi, but in the end will you go or not? Izuku, only if Mineta goes, if not I won't go either. Izumi sighs, okay, Mineta will go, it will be tomorrow at the exit of the UA. Mineta thanks Izuku. Izuku, you're welcome bro. Aizawa, everyone stop talking, Izumi, sit in your place. After that everyone started paying attention to Aizawa. Aizawa, I want to tell you that the battle is not over, he said seriously. Mineta, more villains, how well, if that's the case, let them come because we will defeat them. Aizawa, for excitement, nothing to do with it, I'm talking about the sports festival. Who tells me what the sports festival is? Izuku, the sports festival is a competition of various types of minigames and challenges, and at the end a winner is decided in 1-versus-1 battles. It also has the function of calling heroes to give you applications for internships. Aizawa, that's my favorite asshole. The two bumped fists. Aizawa, cough, and so that they are well trained and strong the UA gives them a week without classes where they will have to train. All let's go / long live freedom, damn it / you bucking sons of hitches, trembles / what day is it? Aizawa, but it will be from next week. All I feel scammed / what if we burn the nail, / what was first called orange, the orange or the color orange. Aizawa, no complaints, now open the book to page 87. Izuku, mind God is here, he is here, I feel him like the air I breathe. Chapter 10 Kids Night and Reunion. The next day. After the typical boring classes, Izuku waited outside the UA for the group friends outing with him, Mineta, Momo, Kirishima, Katsumi, Bakugo Katasuki, and finally Izumi. Izuku mind, I have to control my demon back form, but the question is, how? He couldn't continue thinking when he heard a shrill voice that echoed in his head. Izumi, hello Izuku. After the others arrived and went to the mall to buy clothes and other things, currently Izuku and the others are in a clothing store. Momo, how do I look Izuku? Momo had a tight red dress with a slit on the right side. Izuku, okay, I guess. Kirishima and Miyazu? Kirishima had a black t-shirt with red gym pants highlighting his figure. Izuku, pretty good. Although Izuku didn't admit it, the clothes that Momo and Kirishima had put on suited him very well. Katsumi, mind, I want to blow up all those hitches, the nerd is only mine. Katsumi approached Izuku and asked him the same question as Momo and Kirishima. Katsumi, how do I look Deku-kun? She said, nervous. Katsumi had a black skirt and an orange tank top. Izuku, stop the buck, he said coldly. Katsumi, what the buck did you say, damn Deku? Izuku, besides being a deaf bore, although that's nothing new, he said disinterestedly. Katsumi was about to give her an explosion, but thanks to Izumi's intervention nothing happened, since she grabbed Katsumi's hands and put them behind her back. Katsumi, let me go, she said, very angry. Izumi, don't ruin the group outing, Katsumi. Bakugo, she doesn't, but I do, shiny. Before he could complete the explosion, Izuku touched his forehead with a finger, and Bakugo fainted. Izumi, what did you do to him? She said, annoyed. Izuku, don't start crying, family favorite, just faint him and that's it. What? Did you want me to destroy half of this store? Izumi didn't answer and just looked at the floor since Izuku was right. Izuku, that's what I thought, Mineta. Mineta, what happened? Izuku, let's go, I'm tired of being with these hypocrites and feminists. Momo P, but we are not hypocrites or feminists. Kirishima, it's true, you better come with us and leave that pervert. Izuku, shut up, you have more piercings than rights. Mineta, run dog. They started running and on the way they ran into their teacher Aizawa. Aizawa, what's wrong Izuku? Why are you running? Izuku, run Aizawa, I told some feminists that they have more piercings than rights. After those words Aizawa started running with Izuku and Mineta. After running for so long they stopped to rest and spend the day wasting their time. Izuku, Aizawa, where are we going? Aizawa, listen to me carefully, guys, today I will teach you something essential in every man, are you ready? Izuku / Mineta, we were born to die. After that Aizawa took them to a strip club. Aizawa, this is where my mother and sister were born, I'd present to you the club called And Slow Dance Purple Flower. Izuku, wow, and what's here? Mineta, it can't be in shock. Aizawa, impossible in shock. Mineta and Aizawa gathered in a corner to talk. Aizawa whispering is very innocent, in fact, too innocent. Mineta whispering, do you know what that means, Aizawa? Aizawa / Mineta means we can play with him, they said in an evil tone. Izuku, guys, what are you talking about? Mineta, nothing Izuku, let's go in. The three of them walked to the door and a guard stopped them. Guard identification serious. Aizawa, here is my king. Mineta whispering, Izuku, play along. Izuku, what? Guard, your ID serious. Mineta, excuse me, but we are workers who are in charge of bringing the alcohol, and we came to ask the owner how much we have to bring for the weekend. Izuku, yes, that's true. Guard, okay, come in seriously. Izuku and the others entered and you could see many women on poles dancing sensually. Izuku. Mineta, I bet you like it, ha ha ha. Izuku, despite not understanding why they dance and throw money at him, I have to say that I like it, just a little. Aizawa, good boy, here you will become a man. Izuku, what do you mean, Aizawa? Aizawa, to this. Aizawa called a girl who was wearing a mini-skirt and a school uniform. Girl, do you offer any service? Aizawa, yes, here my friend wants a full service, how much would it be? Girl, $50 in transfer please. Aizawa okay. Aizawa gave him the $50. Girl okay, please follow me, she said kindly. Izuku, why are you taking me, Aizawa? Aizawa, don't ask, just enjoy it. My neta Izuku always remembers this wise phrase, Mommy, I want to hit you hard against the wall, solid against the floor, slow on the pavement, without pain on the sand and without comfort on the ground. Izuku okay, my neta, I'll remember. Aizawa, really, take it, you'll need it. He said, throwing him a package of pills. Aizawa, take them after the action. Izuku, action? After that the girl took him to a room. Girl, take off your clothes. Izuku, what, or what? Girl, what for? To bug, she said, half annoyed by her job. Izuku, this was not part of the deal. Girl, I'm sorry, but I've already been paid and I don't want to refund the money, so lie down and take off your clothes, serious. Izuku just obeyed and took off all his clothes except his boxers. Girl, take off your boxers. Izuku, I feel sorry for you, he said, half shy. Girl, calm down. If you have it small, I will fake my moans. The faster you come, the faster my job stupid will end, she said, a little angry. He said, giving him a thumbs up. Izuku, but what good service. After that Izuku pulled down his boxers, revealing the incomparable Dekakanda. Girl, is that thing real? He said, looking at Izuku's flaccid member that measured 18 centimeters. Izuku, yes, and if I train all my muscles I can make it hard look. Izuku's member grew up to 32 centimeters, making the girl tremble. Girl, mind will break me. Time spic. We can see Aizawa and my neta looking bored. My neta, it's been like 2 hours. Aizawa, what if we go see what my dear student does? My neta, good idea. The two went to the room where they took Izuku. My neta and Aizawa slowly opened the door and looked out to see what was happening. Izuku, tell me who your master is, Hitch. He said, spanking the girl's ass while penetrating her hard. Girl, you are my master, Izuku-sama, Izuku, who is the owner of this lewd vagina? Mitsuki, you are the master of my vagina, I'm coming. The boys closed the door. My neta, I think there are things that are better not to know, right? Aizawa, I confirmed. My neta, do we pretend this never happened? Aizawa, yeah, but we'll bother him from time to time with what we just saw, okay? My neta, okay. After that they walked to another side. Time spic. We can see Izuku with all his clothes on. Izuku, it was nice meeting you, what's your name? Girl, and Mitsuki Bikugo. Izuku was shocked to remember that name. She was the only person who treated him normally. She had never discriminated against him as a child or anything like that. Izuku and Mitsuki? He said in shock. Mitsuki, you called me aunt? What's your name? Izuku, I am Izuku, Izuku x Midoriya. Mitsuki, Izuku, my little one. She hugged him tightly while crying on his chest. Izuku, mine, that's why his face seemed familiar to me, I missed his hugs so much. He thought as he shed a few tears that were felt by Mitsuki. Mitsuki, I missed you so much, they told me you had died in an accident, how are you alive? Izuku, so they lied to you too, he said seriously. Mitsuki, what do you mean, he said, waiting for the answer. Izuku, I'll answer your question later, now tell me, why do you work selling your body, he said seriously. Note: Mitsuki had explained to him what his job details before Izuku knew his name. Mitsuki. Izuku, tell me, I won't judge you, but please tell me why you sell your body. Mitsuki, I'll be honest with you, Izuku. After you left, my husband left me because he had another family, sniff, and he was the one who supported us since I was a housewife. When I went to look for work, nobody accepted me because of my inexperience in almost everything, sniff. After a month, the electricity and water bills, sniff, kept increasing. So much that, sniff, I couldn't pay, so starting to cry, no, sniff, I was left with no other, sniff, than this job, sniff. She started to cry harder, but was hugged by Izuku. Izuku, calm down, Mitsuki-chan, you can cry all you want. I promise that from today you won't have to work in this shit anymore. I will get you out of here and pay your water and electricity bills, and I will also look for a job in which, if they accept you, okay? Mitsuki, and I don't want that. It's a lot of money and I don't want you to put in the effort for something that's not worth it. Izuku, listen to me well, Mitsuki. I do this because I want to and because I can't stand to see you cry. Mitsuki began to hug him tighter. Mitsuki, thank you, Izuku, you are my hero. After that they remained hugging for 5 minutes until Izuku broke the hug. Izuku, listen to me carefully please, get out of here. Tomorrow I will go to your house and transfer the money to you, and we will also talk about what happened in these years that I was not there, okay? Mitsuki, okay. After Izuku started walking towards the door, but before he left Mitsuki grabbed him by the neck and stole a kiss that was reciprocated. Mitsuki, I'm glad I was your first time seeing you, Izu. Izuku, I'm glad too, bye. After that Izuku went to where his friends were. Mineta, you did take my phrase very literally, Izuku. Aizawa, it was about taking her, not governing her, hahaha. Izuku, now where are we going? Aizawa, go buy weed or the special powder. Izuku, mind why most of the time I don't know what they say or what they do. Izuku, what is weed and that special powder? Aizawa, you'll see, my great student. After that, Izuku and the other two went to a corner a little far from the rest of the people. Mineta, hello old man. Old man, what's up, Aizawa and a grape? Aizawa, indeed, we are a product of your imagination. Do you have any high quality sugar left? Old Uff, today they delivered me a really good quality one. It would be about $20. Aizawa bought it, and went somewhere else to snort the sugar. Aizawa, taste, inhale and imagine a better world. Izuku, is this safe? Mineta, you bucked a girl and now you're going to be afraid of a little hex. Come on, don't be a sissy. Izuku didn't say anything and just inhaled the white powder. Aizawa, as my ancestors said, follow the white line, Izuku. After that Izuku started to feel a little weird. Izuku, that wasn't sugar, Aizawa. Aizawa, pass it with this. Aizawa gave him a can of Annie's beer. Izuku, isn't this illegal, Aizawa? Aizawa, nah, as long as you don't get caught it's still legal, he said, giving the thumbs up. Izuku didn't say anything and drank the whole can. Then Mineta did the same and started drinking cans of beer that he had bought at the strip club. Time spick until the next day. We can see Izuku, Aizawa and Mineta in a slime-covered car that was upside down. Izuku, my head, what the hell happened last night? Aizawa, after we started drinking beer like crazy we stole a car and Mineta started driving. The problem was that he couldn't reach the brake, but when I helped him I accidentally stepped on the accelerator, and then we fell down a slope and here we are. Mineta was vomiting outside the car. Izuku, we have to repeat this again sometime. Aizawa, rest assured, really, there are classes today, really I am of legal age. Aizawa settled on the roof of the car as it was flipped over. Aizawa, shit, I'm the teacher. Izuku / Mineta and we the students. The boys quickly got out of the car and started running quickly towards the UA. Chapter 11, Training of the Senses. In the classroom of Class 1A. Lita, why isn't the teacher coming? How irresponsible, he said, annoyed. Aizawa, minus 10 points in the next 5 practical exams, he said in a tired tone. Lita, but professor, he said angrily. Aizawa, now buck you for being a faggot. Izuku, haha, take it, motherbucker. Lita didn't say anything and just clenched her fists because of the rage she felt. Aizawa, cough, 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 all of you pair of monkeys, shut your ass or at least 5 points in the next 5 exams. Everyone became silent and began to listen to their teachers. Aizawa, since there are no classes next week because of the sports festival, today we will do a training of your 4 senses with other teachers, not the sense of touch, because I don't think it will be of much use in a fight where you will probably be killed. Everyone started jumping with excitement as it would be very fun. Aizawa, yes, very funny, he said while smiling in a slightly creepy way. Time spick. Denki ahhh my ass, he said as he was hit by rubber bullets fired by circular robots with feet, arms and thrusters on their backs. Note, imagine that the robot's dot is blue. Aizawa, first sense, sight. Your sight has to be fast enough to be able to see the enemy's blows and react in time, he said seriously. Aizawa, and for that we have this machine that every 30 seconds increases the speed up to x10 represented in levels from 1 to 10. everyone and agreed to be called for training. Momo, hello Izuku, he said smiling. Izuku, what do you want, Momo? Seriously. Momo, why so cold? Izuku, for despising my friend. Nobody messes with my friends, he said seriously. Kirishima, Izuku wasn't that bad, we just called him disgusting, repulsive, and I think that once he should never have been born. Izuku, go to hell, you're no different than those 3 delays, he said, leaving somewhere else. After that everyone started to pass until it was Izuku's turn. Aizawa, I'm gifted, come here, it's your turn. Izuku, don't tell me that, he said, a little annoying. Aizawa, then the Casanova. Izuku decided not to argue further, and stood in the circle and in front of the robots that were firing rubber bullets. Aizawa, ready? Now. Aizawa pressed a button and the balls began to be thrown, but Izuku dodged them without any difficulty. After a while Izuku was already at level 8, and this time it was quite difficult for him. Aizawa, shall we go straight to 10? Izuku, we were born to die. Aizawa activated level 10, and the robot's eyes turned red and began to spin rapidly around Izuku, shooting rubber bullets at him from almost every possible angle. Izuku, mind, this is too much for me. Izuku continued dodging until his veins began to stand out more and his muscles grew, but not as much as in the USJ. Aizawa, mind that form again, let's see if with that form he can dodge more easily. Izuku, mind, for some reason I feel very strong, fast and agile. But I feel so angry that I could hit anyone who was near me. The robots continued to shoot rubber bullets at very high speed, but Izuku dodged them as if nothing had happened. Izuku could not resist his anger any longer, and he launched himself and broke the robots with a few punches. Then he lost his form and came back to himself to then see all the robots broken and shattered on the floor. Izuku, I'm sorry, he said, bowing. Aizawa, it doesn't matter, you were the last one, so let's go to the next test. It's over there, he said, pointing to another place. Mina, are you not going with us? Aizawa, now it's another teacher's turn. Come on, let's move on because I don't have much patience. They all started walking towards another area and met another one of their teachers. Midnight, I'm your teacher, Midnight, I hope we get along, he said while moving his hair. Most of the men stared at her, except Izuku, since he didn't pay much attention to women's physiques. Midnight, and today I'm going to train you with your sense of taste and smell. Everyone except Izuku mind the pleasure that it can serve in a battle? Midnight, and I know everyone is wondering what the sense of taste and smell is for. Who can tell me? Lita, not at all. Taste is of no use in a fight and smell is only good for smelling the food that women prepare, he said in his least macho way. Midnight, first of all, raise your hand before speaking, it is disrespectful not to do so, and second, wrong answer, does anyone know what those senses are for? Izuku raised his hand and Midnight told him he could speak. Izuku, well, the sense of smell and taste are mainly used for quick investigation and capture of villains. Taste is to recognize different types of substances such as marijuana, alcohol, blood, drugs, gasoline, among others, and smell is to recognize odors such as the smell of alcohol, the smell of marijuana, the smell of gas, and other types of odors that can guide or help you find the criminal. Midnight mind is a hexy-bucking genius. Midnight, correct. As his partner Izuku said, taste and smell can be essential in the search for clues of a criminal. Now I will teach you the flavors of different types of substances and I want you to recognize them. Midnight gave each of the students a drop of each substance. Midnight, now I will give you liquids to try like the ones I gave you, but in disorder. There will be a total of 10 substances that you will have to know. I clarify that this is not a test, so if you know almost nothing you will not fail anything since this is just training. And so Midnight started training and these were the results. Momo, 5 out of 10 substances named. Momo knows the composition of the materials, but not their flavors, which are almost completely unknown to her. Izumi, 7 out of 10 named substances. Bakugo, 2/10 named substances. Bakugo refused to learn about flavors with the excuse that the future, number 1 hero would not need to know useful things. Katsumi, 4 out of 10 named substances. She tried, but she didn't succeed and she got frustrated and started sending explosions everywhere, causing Midnight to have to use her quirk to feint her. Kirishima, 7 out of 10 named substances. Sato, 9 out of 10 named substances. It's obvious why it was one of the best. Mineta, 6 out of 10 substances named. Toru, 3/10 named substances. Shoto, 8 out of 10 named substances. Tokoemi, 6 out of 10 named substances. Serum, 6 out of 10 substances named. Jiro, 8 out of 10 substances named. She discovered a talent that she didn't even know she had. She was able to taste white substances well. Shoji, 7 out of 10 named substances. Koda, 3/10 named substances. I'm almost getting the maximum grade XD. Denki, 5 out of 10 named substances. Ojiro, 7 out of 10 substances named. He tries his best with everything. Uraraka, 5 out of 10 named substances. Lita, 8/10 substances named. You have some experience with certain types of substances. Tsuyu, 7 out of 10 named substances. Mine, 4 out of 10 named substances. Aoyama, 0 out of 10 named substances. He said he wouldn't allow his mouth to be soiled with filth, or something like that. Izuku, 10 out of 10 named substances. Could have named more than 20. Izuku mine thanks Aizawa for making me try more than 34 illegal substances. Midnight good not bad Izuku. Now let's move on to the sense of smell. Note, the smell part was the same shit, but now smelling substances, it makes me lazy to write all the shit again, so I decided to skip the smell part and just summarize it. And that's how Izuku stood out again in the senses, getting a score of 10 out of 10 recognized substances, so they went on to the last training. Midnight now they will go with another teacher. Everyone left, but Izuku stayed to talk to his teacher for a few minutes. Izuku, hey Miss Midnight, he said, calling her. Midnight, tell me Izuku, he said, smiling. That smile made Izuku's heart beat strongly. He didn't know why. That had only happened to him with Mitsuki. He was still very new to love. Izuku, I just wanted to say thank you for what happened the other day, Miss Midnight, he said, very nervous and blushing. Midnight, calm down. It is my duty as a heroine to help whoever needs it. I think you should go to the other training. Izuku, thanks, bye, he said, raising his hand in farewell. Midnight, whispering, it's very cute. Midnight, but what am I thinking? He is my favorite student. With others. Everyone was waiting for their teacher until All Might arrived with a great leap. All Might, ha ha ha, today I will be the one to give them the training. Everyone but Izuku, let's go. Izuku arrived at the training area and only a drop of sweat ran down his head. Izuku, mind, really this is my teacher? I prefer Mama Caterpillar 1,000 times. All Might, my training is about where is my little piece of paper, I really lost it, he. Izuku, mind, I'm dying, he's a failure as a teacher. All Might was in one of my big muscles, he said, striking a bodybuilder pose and then seeing how the little piece of paper was on his right bicep. Izuku, mind, how the hell did he get to be the symbol of peace? God, the world is lost. All Might, reading well, the training is about making groups of 2 and what the hell does it say here? Oh, and making them fight. One has to have a blindfold covering their eyes and a mask covering their sense of smell so that only they can have. Izuku, give me the paper, said Ardo. All Might, no, it's my role. Izuku, if you're going to read for crap, you'd better give me the bucking paper. All Might agreed, but very angry. Izuku, cough, 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 and a mask that covers his sense of smell, but what a piece of shit, I mean, so that he can only use his sense of smell as a guide to cover himself and dodge attacks. The objective is for the one with the blindfold to remove a bell that the opponent has on his neck. After that he gave him the role. Izuku, if you want, I can teach you to read and write later, All Might. It would be an honor to teach the great All Might things for 7-year-olds, he said sarcastically. Mineta pfff, ha ha. And when Mineta laughed, all the students also started laughing because they couldn't hold back. All lol. All Might is an idiot, or not. Izumi. Izumi pfff, ah ha ha ha. Aizawa, they gave you a masterful humiliation, All Might, ha ha. All Might, and what are you doing here? He said angrily. Aizawa, what am I doing here? They are my students. Just continue and try not to be humiliated, Mr. Symbol of Peace. Ha! All Might tisk, well form the groups. But you, he said, pointing at IZUKU, you will go against me, he said, smiling evilly. Mineta, that's unfair, a first-year student against the Symbol of Peace? IZUKU, anyway, where is the blindfold to cover my eyes? All Might here, he said, stretching out his hand with the bandage. All Might meant I'll make a feint and then I might knock him down, ha ha ha. IZUKU, with a quick movement that did not give All Might time to react, removed the blindfold. IZUKU, ready, he said, tying the bandage on his face. All Might, we will be the first. All Might positioned himself in front of IZUKU, and then one of the students gave the signal. The place where the training would take place was like a boxing arena, only much bigger. All Might would start running around IZUKU to confuse him, and then attack him from behind. IZUKU, mind got you. IZUKU heard All Might throw a right hook at him, or as he called it, smash. When he heard what he was going to do, he moved to the side and tried to kick him, which All Might dodged. Then IZUKU tried to take the bell, but All Might grabbed his hand and tried to slam him on the floor. But IZUKU quickly broke free and wrapped his legs around All Might's neck, and his arms made a lock so that All Might couldn't get away. All Might, you're still green. All Might threw him far away, which bothered IZUKU, since he was able to attack and dodge All Might's blows because he was close. But now it was different. All Might was very far away, enough to hit him when IZUKU was careless. But thanks to the bell he knew where his position was, but he didn't know if he was on guard or was going to attack. Suddenly he felt his hair go back, and with a quick movement he moved to one side and gladly a air passed by his side. IZUKU, mind, this is complicated, but if I concentrate. IZUKU began to concentrate as much as possible, making an imaginary map and an imaginary All Might based on the sounds it made when moving. All Might, oh, I already given up. Ha, I knew that. He couldn't think anymore because IZUKU gave him a strong blow to the abdomen followed by a kick to the face. All Might touched his cheek in pain and asked, All Might, how do you know where I am? IZUKU, simple, concentration and imagination, nothing out of the ordinary. Then IZUKU tried to knee All Might in the face, but he covered himself and tried to hit him hard in the face. But Aizawa, the winner is IZUKU, he said, bored. All Might opened his eyes and saw that his bell was not there. All Might, bastard, you cheated? IZUKU, not at all. Being smarter doesn't mean cheating. Aizawa, exactly. Now All Might put on the blindfold, and this time IZUKU will have the bell. After a while All Might put on the blindfold and waited for Aizawa's order. Aizawa, I recommend that you cover yourself. Class 1A listened to their teacher, and a student named Shoto created an ice wall, but you could see through it. Aizawa, start. IZUKU waited on guard for a move from All Might, but All Might, Toma, smash, Carolina, smash. All Might began to throw punches like a psychopath. IZUKU took advantage of that and stealthily approached All Might and ripped off his bell. Aizawa, IZUKU wins, he said, bored. All Might, how, when, cheater, you did something, did anyone see it? Everyone was silent and just said, All I win fair and square. IZUKU, if you want later I can teach you how to kick All Might, ha ha ha. After that everyone did the same thing, but with different groups like Momo and Kirishima. Time spic. After that everyone went home, but IZUKU went in the same direction as Izumi and Bakugo. Izumi, are you coming to visit us? She said hopefully. IZUKU, no way, he said seriously. Katsumi, I'm sure you're coming to visit me, right, Aiza? Izumi, nobody loves you. Katsumi, shut up, you're going to visit me, right? IZUKU, something like that, but it's not because of you, and for your information I just want to visit someone, my friend who was the only person who didn't see me as shit for not having a quirk. Bakugo, TSK, she must be a hitch, he said angrily. Katsumi, yes, she is surely a hitch who sleeps with anyone, she said angrily. IZUKU, don't disrespect your mother, he said seriously. Bakugo/Katsumi, what?
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.